Hey guys, what's up? So I'm leaving Japan here pretty soon. I've been here for 4 years and I just really want to make a video talking about my experience skateboarding in Japan. I've been living on a Navy base for the last 4 years. It has a really tiny skate park. It's not the greatest park. It's kind of a boring park to film at, but for someone who kind of got back into skating while I've been here, it's been the perfect park for me to kind of relearn and learn a bunch of new stuff. So in this video, like I said, we're going to talk about my experience skating in Japan, the culture, and get one last sesh at this base park. And if I can get the vids off my phone, I'll add in a couple other clips I got from some skate parks out in town, like in Tokyo and stuff. And then after all the skating, I'll have that deep discussion. All right, so I'm here at the park, right? I did a couple of ollies and a couple kick flips and stuff to kind of warm my ankle up. I'm coming off of an ankle injury off my flicking foot, so if I don't warm up, like until I'm kind of warmed up, it still kind of hurts to flick my foot. So right now I'm just gonna get into a bunch of flip tricks, practice some basic stuff, then I'll get into all my usuals. Now we're just gonna get this sesh. That was really bad. All right, I got some basics and some of my favorites out of the way. Let's hit a couple of the obstacles. I might come back, try some harder flat ground later. Alright, that was a fun sesh. I landed quite a bit of tricks. I didn't get to attempt everything I wanted to, and some tricks that I normally do were giving me quite a bit of trouble just because I'm not 100% used to these shoes and this setup yet, even though I really like it. Mainly the kickflip back 50 was giving me a lot of trouble and was a trick that I had very consistently until recently when I kind of changed my setup and changed my shoes. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the clips. Moving on to the next portion of this video. skate culture in Japan is very unique because you have a country who has adopted and popularized skateboarding so quickly in the last couple years. Not that it wasn't already like a big thing, but ever since Yuta won the Olympics, like it's just been mass adopted by the population. But street skateboarding is still very looked down upon. If you're in one spot for too long, the police are always there, especially in like the big parts of Tokyo, which sucks because most of the parks in Tokyo are extremely tiny and crowded. But when I go to the skate park, it's really interesting because there's a mass amount of people who are just learning to skate for the first time, like over the past year and a half, 2 years that Yuta won the Olympics. I'd say a good 70% of people are people new on their board who have barely been skating, because there's a huge part of them that are just learning to ride their boards comfortably, and then there's probably a good 30 to 40% that like know how to ride a board, can do basic tricks, are comfortable hitting obstacles, and are just there to like practice normally, right? That being said, in my opinion, this new mass popularity of skateboarding comes with its fair share of issues, right? Like I said, it's hard to skate in the streets. It's almost impossible without getting in trouble, right? So everyone is at a skate park. I go to Shin Yokohama. It's a very big park. It gets so crowded, and when more than half of the people are there like learning for the first time, they don't understand like proper skate etiquette, right? So you have people who are just learning how to ride a board, which is cool, but they're doing it in the middle of everything for people trying to learn more advanced tricks on obstacles. And it's like they don't understand that, hey, you try your thing, get out of the way, let someone else try their thing, right? It's kind of just like common skate etiquette. And if you're just learning, then you should probably learn out of the way or wait for your turn, like in that obstacle, right? 'Cause I'm not against people trying to learn things, because everyone starts somewhere, but you know, that common etiquette is just not there. That being said, on the other end of the spectrum, you have new kids picking up skateboarding where their parents are training them Ninja style, and they're getting so good so quick. I'm going to a skate park and I'm just trying to hit some like crooks and smiths on this rail, and these kids are doing some like crook nollie flip out or heel flip feebles. Like, it's ridiculous. In the next 5 to 10 years, the skate contest scene is going to get very interesting, and Japan is kind of like pushed for that younger audience to be trained. Like, they are building training facilities throughout Japan, especially in more rural areas where people don't have access to skate parks. And it's literally because like you can aspire to be an Olympic athlete by skateboarding now. The overall environment is really interesting too. People are very nice, don't get me wrong, they're super nice. It's always fun to find a group of locals and skate with them. The language barrier does make it extremely difficult at times. I managed to get lucky and find one friend that I got really close with who spoke really good English, and he would translate everything else for me, so that's awesome. But that language barrier does make it hard to like find really close friends that you can bond with at the skate park. That being said, you can always just go up to a random group of people and ask them to play skate and stuff. Like, always, they're always super hyped to talk to people. However, there is this weird phenomenon that I have noticed, and almost every time me or my buddy go to the skate park, there's always like a group of little kids, like I'd say like somewhere between like 8 to 12 years old, who are ridiculously good and see you trying something, so they move to that spot and start trying your trick or the same trick but a harder variation. I don't know what it is about that, but it is very interesting. I don't know if I should be offended or not. There's two ways to go about it, right? To them, they could be seeing a foreigner try this trick and they're like, ah, well, I'm better than that foreigner, so I'm gonna go do what he's doing and do it better. Or they're like, hey, that guy's trying a really cool trick, I want to try that trick too. Like, it doesn't really bother me, but it's kind of interesting that it always happens. I'll be on the completely other side of the park, this group of kids who are really good follow me, and then they start trying the same exact obstacles that I'm doing, and half of them will start trying the same trick, and then once they land it before I do, they start trying harder variations. And it's not like I'm doing like very difficult or technical tricks or any big things. Like, I like to stay small and stay basic because I'm not like super good, but it's always crazy that happens. But it's just crazy how a country can be on both sides of the spectrum regarding skateboarding at the same time. They can be against it and its culture in terms of like street skateboarding. It's looked down upon. You're looked down upon if you skate in the streets, and like, but then again, they've adopted it into like Olympic sports training, and then they push for its popularity and stuff like that. It's really interesting, and I feel like a lot of people kind of aren't really grasping what the Olympics have done for skateboarding, and Yuto winning gold has done for Japan. I think I want to leave my board setup and shoe discussion for another video, because I can get into a lot of detail about that, and I don't want to stretch this video out too long. So till then, Trade for Days signing out. I didn't like that.